very much. Pat called and said, I'd love for you to come and speak. And I said, well, Pat, my God, I'm new to the industry. I'm new to the company. There's probably not much a lot of these very smart, experienced people want to hear. And she said, well, just tell them about why you came and what you did. And I said, well, okay, it's on you. As was mentioned, my background, I led several business units with Beechcraft prior to coming to Excore. And then prior to that, I was with DOD for 3 years as a civilian, both at OSD and in the Air Force. And then prior to that, I led a variety of different companies that were in the middle market environment. Nothing to do with aerospace and nothing to do with defense or our space industry. So I commonly get asked, why'd you come to Excore? And so as I was looking at what was next for me, I said there's fundamentally 3 criteria. That wherever I go at this point in life, it needed to be cool. It needed to be exciting. It's why you want to get out of bed in the morning, to go do something. Well, I think the fact that we're all here and what we do and why we're dedicated to it, I think we can say this is pretty cool. So we check the box there. The second is I wanted to go to an industry that is early on. It had a lot of run rate. It was there to reward those that were innovative and creative. And very rarely, I think, in one's lifetime do you have the opportunity to look at something and say, wow, this is an industry that what it can do and the effect it can have is just simply amazing. There are very few of those that come along. The internet, aviation of 100 years ago. Well, that's where we are. So check the box on that one. And the last thing, the third thing, was wherever I went, I said, okay, I want the business to do something unique. That was a little harder. That for me, without the experience and true understanding of this market, it took a little bit of digging. And the words I kept hearing from no matter what I read about was reusability, driving efficiency, driving low cost and access. And I said, well, I'm somewhat familiar with that. That resembles commercial and general aviation. I said, I can grasp that. And then I looked at Excore and said, well, what are they doing? Well, with the very highly reusable engines that are low service, coupled with a spacecraft that's very simple, you get frequency, you get accessibility, and you get affordability. I said, again, that seems somewhat unique in a horizontal takeoff and landing environment. That's something I can grasp. I got that. That's commercial aviation. So I said, all right, I think it's worth a shot. No risk, no return. So I ended up at Excore. And one of the first things I had to understand from the people that were interested in bringing me on, I said, what's our goal here? And it was interesting when you asked the founders, they said, oh my God, you know, we're developing these engines which are so cool and what they can do, it's just amazing. I go, I agree. And then the spacecraft, what it can do is going to be revolutionary. I said, I agree. Is that our goal, is to continue to develop that? Well, when you asked the board and the shareholders, they said, oh, no, we're going to be profitable. I said, okay, I got it. So my responsibility then became very clear, is to put us on a path to profitability. And that drives everything, plain and simple. Now, some of the interesting aspects we've encountered is we don't have the luxury of a wealthy rabbi. There's good and bad to that. I mean, it's just simply, it is what it is. I mean, we have a function every Friday where everybody goes through the shop and digs through the furniture and everything looking for change so we can get funded for the following week. But what that drives, it's really fascinating, is that makes us very, very feisty and very, very innovative. When you go through our shop and you look at what we're doing, you see some things that are bizarre. And you say, why did we do that? And they said, well, we needed to test bearings for our engines. And if we'd done the traditional model, it'd taken 6 months and $250,000. So somebody went out and bought a motorcycle, put the bearing in it, added some sort of measurement, and rode it from New Mexico to California. And we accomplished the test. And we accomplished the test in 30 days for $10,000. Time and money that drives us to profitability. So it is what it is. One of the challenges I had was both as a company and in a role of managing our path to profitability, say, what is it we do? Let's define what we do. And then our responsibility is to take that and merge it with the market opportunities. So we had to sit down and say, what is it we do? Well, we do engines. And as Rob said earlier, there's a great market for that. You can use them internally for our products, or we could possibly sell them and are selling them to others that find them of value. Okay, that's one segment. The second is we can make spacecraft and sell them or potentially lease them. Okay, got it. I've heard that before. That's the commercial market. The others, we can execute the missions ourselves. That could be scientific payloads, and then it could be commercial payloads, small sats, nanosats, or whatever anybody dreams up, or it could be tourism, which is also an area we focus on. Got it. Okay, so what does the market tell us about what we think we do? Well, in each of those areas, we've started to dig deeper, and we've gotten great feedback. I've often wondered when Mr. Boeing started out and said, I've got a dream that I can take this, we can fly. And he's looking for people to come in and support his venture, potential customers, potential investors. And they said, wow, that's a great idea. But you've all heard it, it'll never work, it'll be a fad, it'll just be a one-off. There's no commercial market for it. And frankly, if he'd had to go out and say, I believe there is a market to carry passengers, to carry payloads, whatever those might be. Is there a defense application? Yes. That at the time, based on where the market was, people said, there's no market for that. It's just a fad. If he'd allowed that to dissuade him, where would we be? Well, we'd all gotten here in a buggy. But you then look at something, and Rob brought this up also about when someone said, what do you think the market is for your services? And he said, well, I believe it's there. And I couldn't agree more with him. And if people ask us to define what we think the potential market is for what we do, I tell them, I believe if we try to define that, we're actually limiting ourselves what might be out there. If you look at your phone, and when that was started, this entire network was built to support voice. At the time, if someone said, well, I'm selling this to do more, you're going to be able to bank from your phone. You're going to be able to chat. All these other apps that, frankly, I don't fully understand. But people go, what? There's no market for that. I think when you create the capacity to provide frequent, affordable, and capable, it happens. And you can't try and define what the market wants to go through that. So we're building a platform to open that and allow the free market to decide what they want to put on it. That's what we do. We're not trying to do more or do less. I experienced an interesting demonstration of this when I was at Beechcraft, and it taught me a great lesson. That we were making King Airs. Great product, wonderful product, very basic, very simple, very efficient, very effective, very reliable. The market started coming to us and said, we've got this ISR, and we want to put it on there. Well, okay. We didn't really think much of it. But when you took the fact that the technology was getting smaller and more capable, and you matched it with a very affordable, capable platform, voila, the market exploded. Whereas before, it was only provided by a few, it was very expensive, very infrequent. When it became open, the sensors improved, and the customer base just exploded. We had people calling us. We happened to be known for ISR. A lot of it was because of the Liberty aircraft. People would call us and say, we would like to get some ISR. And we go, okay, what do you want to use it for? Well, we don't really know, but we just want some. Well, people started using it for fisheries protection, oil spill, pipeline surveys. Obviously, a lot of the data that you see coming downstream is coming through what is the equivalent of these sensor packages. So part of, I guess, my summation is I believe that what occurred a century ago can tell us a lot about where this market can go and what the opportunities are. And for us in particular, it's real simple. I tell our folks, this is all good, but we need to fly. Because at some point for yourselves and for the market, you need to execute. Demonstrate that you can execute. So right now, our focus is we got to fly, and we will soon. But I think that market of 100 years ago can tell us a lot. I certainly use it, and part of it's just because I'm new and ignorant of what's going on here, but I think it's a great roadmap. And I think I'll leave you with one thing that is a great comment I heard about the challenges we all face and what we're all trying to do in this particular market. And it says, we're embarked as pioneers upon a new science and industry in which our problems are so new and unusual that it behooves no one to dismiss any novel idea with the statement, it can't be done. I think that's very applicable to where we all are in our endeavors. The fascinating thing, it was said by Bill Boeing 100 years ago. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.